He said probably there's not another one like it in the world.
Obviously he was wrong.
Yeah, and he showed me something about that clock. A little feature with all clocks made by Courbet-Fils. Underneath, here, near the floor, is a little spring. You push the spring and the whole bottom compartment opens up, see? Like this.
But I never knew.
In the old days, I guess people used the compartment for a kind of safe. Today they use it for hiding other things. Shotguns, for instance. Yep, this is it, Laura. I'm sure of it. And it was put here by the only man who knew about this clock, Paul Lydecker.
Oh, no.
Yeah. When the Redfern girl opened the door, this hallway was dark. Lydecker saw a girl and assumed it was you, and he fired. He figured if he couldn't have you for himself, he was going to make sure no one else did. He heard Carpenter, so he hid behind the stairway outside in the corridor. Carpenter was scared to death, and he got out as fast as he could. Then Lydecker slipped back in and tucked the gun away in the grandfather clock.
Oh, I felt it ever since I came back. I'm the one to blame. Not for anything I did, but for what I didn't do. I should have stopped seeing Paul long ago. But I couldn't. I owed too much to him.
I can understand all that. But I can't understand why you tried so hard to protect Carpenter.
I was frantic you'd arrest him. I knew he wasn't guilty. But I knew Paul would do everything he could to incriminate him. It was his way of getting rid of Shelby, just as he got rid of every other man who might have meant something to me.
For a charming, intelligent girl, you've certainly surrounded yourself with a remarkable collection of dopes. Now, look, don't touch anything. I'm leaving the gun and the clock. I'll have it picked up in the morning.
You're going?
Yeah, I'm picking up Lydecker.
Mark.
I've got to. You know that. Try and get some sleep, will you?
Sleep? Well, maybe I can. I'll read a book, listen to the radio. Will you call me later?
Sure. Try and forget all this. It's just a bad dream. Good night, Laura.
Good night, Mark. Good night. And be careful, please.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, with his final word for this evening, Mr. Paul Lydecker.
As history has proved, love is eternal. The strongest motivation for man's actions throughout centuries. Love is stronger than life. It reaches beyond the dark shadows of death. May I remind you of some favorite lines of mine from Dowson's poem? They are not long, the weeping and the laughter, love and desire and hate. I think they have no portion in us after we pass the gate. They are not long, days of wine and roses. Out of a misty dream, our path emerges for a while,
then closes within a dream. That's the way it
you
is,
heard the
isn't
voice
it, Laura?
of Paul Lydecker by electrical transcription. This is the...
There's a final irony to all of this, Laura. You know how I despise melodrama, and yet here I am, a gun in my hand, about to kill you.
Oh, you've taken one life. Isn't that enough?
The best part of myself, that's what you are, Laura. Do you think I'm going to leave you to the vulgar pawings of a second-rate policeman who thinks you're a dame?
He'll find you, Paul. You know he will.
Willie, don't you overestimate the man who thought I left a few moments ago. And all I did was wait in the hall, Laura. And then I let myself in again with a key I've always had. I'm not going to lose you, Laura.
Hey, Paul, open the door.
Don't move, Laura.
He didn't leave. He's somewhere in this building. Laura, are you all right?
He'll find us together, darling. As always we should have been. As always we will be.
No, Paul, no.
Turn your face, darling. Please, turn your face. I couldn't...
Sorry, Miss Sanford, I had to do it. I better let the boss in before he busts down your door. Laura.
It's all right, Mark.
Get him through the window, Lieutenant, from the fire escape. I'll call headquarters.
Fine detective. A fine detective I am.
Laura. Goodbye. Goodbye, my love.
Oh, Mark.
It's all right, darling. It's all right. The bad dream is over.
Our stars will be back for their curtain calls in a moment. Now, back to Mr. Barrymore and our stars.
Well, now that we've solved tonight's baffling crime, with the help of Jean Tierney, Dana Andrews, Vincent Price, and Otto Kruger, we invite our stars to the footlights for their curtain calls. And I might add that for Dana, this is the first appearance on our stage.
First for me, too, Mr. Barrymore.
For you too, Jean? Well, With Van Johnson here on our 10th anniversary show, the Lux Radio Theatre's had a pretty good season for new stars.
I hear you're making a picture with Van Johnson, Mr. Barrymore.
Yeah, that's right, Vincent. Between two women. At Metro Goldwyn Mayer. Well, I'll tell you a secret about Dana. He's going romantic on us in his next picture.
What picture's that, Dana?
It's a Technicolor, Vincent, for 20th Century Fox. State Fair.
Who's in it with you?
Well, the largest group in the cast is 54 prize Hampshire hogs.
Now, let me get this straight, Dana. You're playing a romantic role?
And you know, one of those pigs weighs 880 pounds.
It's undoubtedly the biggest ham in the picture.
Oh.
I can see now why there's a bacon shortage. All the hogs are going to pictures.
Well, Dana, you said those hogs a good example in acting, and we look forward to producing State Fair in this theater someday.
What are you going to have on Lux for next week, Mr. Barrymore?
For next Monday night, we have from Paramount Studios a play and stars that hundreds of our listeners have requested. For Whom the Bell Tolls. With Katina Paxinu, Akeem Tamirov, Mikhail Razumi, and Gary Cooper and Ingrid Bergman. I can guess by the reaction in our studio audience that it's a play you've all been looking forward to. And I don't wonder. Based on the novel by Ernest Hemingway, it's one of the great motion pictures of our time, with 5 great stars in their original screen roles.
Sounds like a wonderful evening, Mr. Barrymore. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. I hope you leave again.